my God, the box can't contain it. What's up everybody? My name is Pat with Optimize, and I'm here for video number 1, where I'm going to talk about why I went this whole other route besides standard nootropics that everyone's getting into, like crazy things like intranasal insulin, C-Max, like all this crazy stuff you can buy online, and why I've stuck to just classic vitamins and minerals. So basically my quest for this began years ago, and I always felt I was a little short on energy and that I'd have this like brain fog, and I just, I felt I could do a little bit better than that. So I started just throwing every supplement in the books at it. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, here, over the years, we've accumulated this stack of supplements. Well, I think something broke. And let me tell you, out of everything I've tried, some way we can move this over quicker here. Out of everything I've tried, I found the best results out of just normal vitamins and supplements, which is a lot of what this is because I've gotten rid of a lot of things over the years. But I feel there's a certain aspect to taking your body further where you really have to fix the machine before you just push it harder. And a lot of guys online, on Reddit, Long City, some other online communities, they're all about just, ramming in harder and harder nootropics, and like, this is a new one, this is straight out of the laboratories, it's got some crazy name, it doesn't even have a name yet, and you can buy it online for $50. And the great thing is, they usually work, kind of. They do something really cool. Maybe they'll, make you a little sharper, improve your short-term memory or something, executive functioning. But at the end of the day, like, you're really just trying to make a broken machine do even more. So I really believe in trying to find a lot of things that you might be deficient in, and that can be tough. So I tell a lot of my friends who are interested in this that they want to start, if you really want to go right for the top, get a DNA test. And that'll be a topic for another video here, but that we can get into. But that's one way you can figure out a lot of these things that your body might need, or at least get you in the right general direction for it. Some of it you might know by analyzing your diet, like things that you do and don't eat. Like, if you're a vegetarian, you probably don't get a lot of B vitamins because you get a lot of B6 and B12 from meat. So there's some things like that you might just kind of know after a while that, hey, maybe I'm deficient in those. For me personally, it started a couple years ago when I tried a good multivitamin. I think it was actually Now Foods Adam, which is a men's multivitamin. And after taking it for like 2 weeks, I felt awesome. After I felt better taking that, I'm like, I really need to start breaking this down. And through a DNA test and everything, I started figuring out what my body actually needed and started piecing those things together, taking them and spacing it out one thing at a time. And I'm like, holy crap, like, I feel awesome now. I've kept a log of this entire thing, and it's taken me years now. And the log spans over a little over a year now, about a year and a half. And over that time, I've noticed crazy improvements in mental sharpness, my energy levels, my enthusiasm about doing things. I'll be honest with you, 2 years ago, I probably would never even consider making a YouTube channel to share this with anybody. So a lot of people think that you really have to go right for the top, right for something like ridiculous nootropics that don't have any safety records and all that stuff. And in turn, like, you can do a lot more with just basic vitamins and minerals. I'm not going to say that if you don't get into any like really up there nootropics. I mean, there's people out there who swear by like modafinil or something to stay awake. But there's definitely benefit in that too. And I haven't ruled it out of my regimen either. But for a core foundation, you really just want to get down to the basics. I was reading not too long ago a thread on Reddit nootropics, and everybody was listing out their top 10 favorite nootropics that they've used. And I noticed a consistent pattern and stuff. Some of it worked for me, some of it doesn't. A lot of guys, caffeine, theanine, those are popular. I don't really do well with either one of those, so I generally avoid them. But everybody generally listed the same stuff, and a lot of it was really aggressive. Some people had more aggressive ones than others. Some people went right for listing like their Adderall prescription and things like that, which doesn't really count as a nootropic in my opinion. But only a few people on there really listed really basic stuff. Magnesium, fish oil. Some people are into that, some people aren't. Fish oil, vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin E, things like that. And I talked to some of those guys, and many of them felt that their experiences were some of the best. They had the least side effects and the biggest gains out of it. I mean, you're literally just getting your body running right. For me, some of those changes were things I never experienced before in my life. For example, when I started getting vitamin B9 or folate in its active form, methylfolate, I noticed huge increases in energy and sharpness. I felt like a whole new person. I was so happy. Like, I would go talk to my friends, and I was actually like really excited to go meet new people and do new things, and not just, you know, oh, I'll get out of bed today and, you know, I'll get out of work in a few hours and I'll just kind of drag through it. And you don't really realize for a long time, you know, when you're 30 something years old or however old you may be, that that's the life you've come to live and come to accept. So real quick here, I'm going to show you guys what I'm taking right now. And I'll have some links to this in the description below. So if you're interested, you know, this may not be for everybody. Like I said, my regimen I've tailored specifically for myself, and I'm happy to answer any questions on it. It's based on a lot of things, like a lot of genetic things from my 23andMe test, and a lot of things I've noticed over the years. I'll give you an example in a minute on one of those. So moving some of these aside here, guys. This is one thing that I've mentioned before in the video, folate. Huge on this. Vitamin B9, big for energy and a lot of other things. Anyone who has the now made famous MTHFR defect, this is a huge thing for you because you probably don't get enough. You're probably just force-fed folic acid from all your fortified grains and, you know, when you eat white bread and stuff like that. It's not the same. Magnesium, by the way, I'm grabbing this in no particular order, but magnesium was one that I actually found on my own a while ago because I took it a couple times because people said it was good for stress, and I was kind of stressed out at the time, and I thought, hey, maybe this will really help me. And as soon as I took it, I got really, really exhausted. Like, I couldn't even get out of bed. And it took me a while researching it. I would try it, stop it, try it, stop it. And after a little research, I found other people said they had the same problem because they're so deficient in it that you just need to start taking it for like a week straight. Lo and behold, guys, 5 days later, I felt like, you know, a whole new person taking it. Like, I felt normal again, a little less stressed, and, you know, just good overall. Like, it was a nice improvement for me. But it was crazy. Like, I really had to just wait it out because I was so deficient. Right here, this is a newer one for me, FMN, or coenzymated B2. That goes along with folate. I'm going to cover that in another video because it's a whole other topic, because I used to not tolerate folate until this little guy came around. Molybdenum is big for people who can't tolerate sulfur. And it's kind of a weird one that kind of falls in with the 23andMe test again. If you're familiar with the forum Phoenix Rising, there's a lot of people over there who are big on this. There's different schools of thought on it, but at the end of the day, if you can't tolerate food that is high sulfur content, like if you eat onions and you get really, really, really tired afterwards, this might be key for you. Right here, I have Adenosyl B12. Right here I have Adenosylcobalamin, Adenosyl B12. It's a weird form of B12 that has to do a little more with ATP production, so that's your body's core energy source. This goes really well along with your standard methylcobalamin or methyl B12. Both of these are active forms of B12. They're really good. This is big again for the MTHFR people, and they're definitely more noticeable than if you take the standard cheap forms of B12, which there's probably one in here somewhere that I used to take years ago, who knows at this point, and going to the active forms made a huge difference for me. Vitamin D3, I was actually tested deficient in this many, many years ago by a doctor, and I've been taking it since. But it's funny because it used to make me really aggravated, like really angry when I take it. And it turned out that your body needs magnesium to be able to work with vitamin D. So when I started taking magnesium, the D started working, you know, much better, and I wouldn't get so pissed off when I took it. PQQ, this is something I took, probably the only thing close to standard nootropic that I take. It's sort of the high test version of coenzyme Q10, if you're familiar with that. And it's supposed to help with your mitochondria, some things like that, and help with brain fog, energy levels. I never noticed much of a big difference from it, but I never even noticed many side effects, so I've just continued to take it. To be honest, it's something I haven't really taken the time to start, stop, and see if there's a big change from it. TMG, this one has been kind of a lifesaver off and on. It's a long story. Trimethylglycine, it's a methyl donor. It's relatively inexpensive. It doesn't really do a lot. And that's kind of a good thing, because all you really want is, if you know, depending on your genetic makeup, you might need a methyl donor for a little more energy. Kind of goes along with the folate. which is another methyl donor, but this does a lot more, whereas this you get more methyl groups out of, and you'll get a little more energy out of without it doing much else. Like there's not really any side effects or anything. Last but not least, L-Carnitine. This is big too if you don't eat meat. I do eat meat, so it's a little bit different, but this is actually part of a protocol I read online for helping with chronic fatigue, and I've always had this in here, and it helps a bit. So it works well with the B12s too. So if you're noticing a common theme here, just to wrap up, guys, if you're noticing a common theme here is that all of these, or most all of these, are just normal vitamins and minerals. There's nothing crazy in here that I take on a daily basis. There's nothing ridiculously expensive that you have to get from overseas or anything. It's really just standard stuff that you buy on Amazon, and this has made more of a difference overall for me than any other supplements I've ever taken. And you know, I'll talk some more about some other nootropics in the future that I've taken, like some more interesting ones. But like compared to even like the piracetam that other people take, I've noticed far more from this stack here than I ever did from anything like that. So this is video number 1, guys. You know, we'll cover some new topics in the future. Nootropics, supplements, lifestyle, and we'll have a good time with it. So guys, if you have any comments, leave them below, and be sure to hit subscribe. I'm going to try and turn out probably 1 to 2 videos per week, and we'll take it from there.